Guys, we're at one of Siga's factories here in Switzerland, and we are going to spend the entire day here learning about new products, learning about best practices, and we also get a tour of the manufacturing floor. And we're going to show you all the behind the scenes on how some of the best tapes and membranes that we use for our building science are manufactured. So we're at one of two of Siga's factories, and we're going to do a quick tour. So we're in Switzerland for a couple days, and they're giving us, a rundown of how to install the product, some of the tips. They've also introduced some of the new products, which is a corner tape flashing for the windows, which is awesome. A lot of you guys have talked about that on our YouTube channel at our Rhode Island passive build, and how that tape buildup was not ideal, and they agreed, and they came up with a solution for that. That is not manufactured here. It's actually manufactured at another location, but a lot of the tapes and the membranes are actually manufactured here. So over here, you actually have a bunch of raw material, and the raw material comes in. This does not have any adhesive on it. So these come in really big rolls. You might recognize some of it. This right here, for example. Here's our WRB that is on our Rhode Island passive build, but there's no adhesive backing to it, which this would be a self-adhered product. Same thing with the Fentrim tape. So we're gonna try to go through and kind of walk you guys through how this is done. Wigluv is a tape, and then you have the backing paper to it, which is more of a brown paper. That adhesive, that glue has a lot of water in it, and because it has a lot of water in it, it's, and which is how it's made, it needs to basically be evaporated of the water and just leave the chemical makeup. So this right in this bottle here is the glue. And what essentially happens is this glue gets applied to the paper backing and then goes through a dryer. And so you're not applying this glue to the actual tape, you're applying it to the backer, goes through the dryer. You can actually see it over here. It's going to go through this big chamber up here, and it's going to evaporate all of the moisture out of that. The reason that they're doing it on the paper backing rather than the Wigluv is because that's about 210 degrees. And that Wigluv, if you know, 210 degrees is going to shrink that right up, and it's not going to work. So as it's making its way through, we're going to go all the way down. You're going to see kind of what it looks like. And here's actually a shot of what that paper backing looks like. Again, it's going through this dryer, and it's going to come out on the other end. Now, once it comes out on the other end, you still got to transfer that glue from the paper backing to the tape, right? So as it makes its way out, you saw that glue is actually like a white, creamy substance. This right here, it's actually going to come out completely clear, but it's very, very, very sticky. And on this case, on the Wigluv, you do have this mesh backing. So that mesh backing is going to be applied to your paper back and then your Wigluv tape. I keep calling it the Wigluv. I'm using that as an example, but I'm going to correct myself and say the carrier. So the carrier being when you use the product, what's carrying the adhesive, and ultimately it would be the tape product. So the carrier product gets applied with that in between, and this is where everything kind of transfers over and becomes a roll. How the adhesive actually makes its way from paper onto the carrying product, they really didn't disclose that, but the reality is it's chemistry and it works somehow. But as we work our way around here, you can kind of start to see some of the products. For example, Wetguard here, we've used that in a product. This is rolled up on the backing paper. You have one of their tape products here with Wetguard right behind it. And then you're going to start getting these products on a roll with the backing already applied. Here's the resin tape. You can see that paper backing on the back side there. So now the adhesive has transferred to that. You get all these large rolls, you got to cut them up. I also got to stay within the white lines. I'm going to get in trouble here. You see the Siga MyVest 500 SA. We've used that on our projects. You have the Wigluv tape, again, in these really big rolls. And ultimately, these big rolls get installed onto these machines. And you can start to see that it's going to go through this process and get cut up in your rolls. The nice thing about this one is that you can see how fast it spins actually. Take a moment to enjoy that. We'll see it from the other side in a minute. But this machine is set up for your tape width. It's Wigluv 60, so it's 60 millimeters, which is like 2.3 inches, so roughly just under 2.5 inches. And they're cutting multiple of those strips. come around here, all of the paper tubes are dropped into this hopper, and you can see all of these are being loaded up this and into the machine and then dropped into the channel so they can slide on basically a cylinder. You see that cylinder right there? You can actually see the other rolls of tape rolling up individually. So that sheet's coming through the cutter into that 2.3 inches, and then they're preloading the cardboard tubes. That rotates around, reloaded. That tape is going to start while this one gets cut. That drops down, and it's going to make its way over here. And then everything drops down into place. And this is where we start the packaging assembly, essentially. So everything comes through. You got these two robots. What I love about this, the first time I walked through, they work so fast, and frankly, they look like they're working very aggressively, but it's the nature of the robot. And a couple things that they had mentioned, the facility overall, I mean, it's a big facility. I was expecting it to be a lot bigger, but with that being said, they run about 15 hours in production, so 2 shifts, split like 9 and 6 hour shifts. But there's only about 15 people out in this facility. Obviously they have research and the scientists in the lab and the engineering, but out in the facility, there's a lot of automation and doesn't require a lot of human, you know, as far as handling the material, which is cool to see. And then everything gets dropped in these boxes, comes around, then you have 2 more robots here stacking up, 5 rolls times 2, getting 10 rolls, picks up. Watch this swing around and the tape goes in. And I love how, you know, you have the flaps in the box, and just like a human would, you're almost like making sure you put it past the flap and drop the tape rolls in. You can see it, same thing, and then it comes around here. This machine, I guess, weighs it just in case 10 rolls don't make it in there. If it doesn't, it kicks it out of the way so it doesn't make its way onto a pallet, and then the box gets sealed up. Comes through here, stacks in 4, and then you have this suction cup robot, picks them up, spins it around, and stacks them on a pallet. Doug, look at how nice these pallets are. This was something that I took embarrassingly too many photos of these pallets. Very nice pallet. So everything gets stacked up onto a pallet, and then you'll see everything will head over to that robot, drop down, and then be wrapped up with bands and plastics and corner guards. And this is interesting because over there you have the 2 robots really working fast, and then over here, this robot I noticed, and this one as well, seem to sit still a lot. And that's not a bad thing, but for me, I realized that they have so much opportunity here in the sense that they are producing a superior product. I'm not saying that because I'm here or this is a sponsored video by any means. We use it, we believe in it, and it frankly is superior and in so many ways, and it really has changed our comfort level with the way we deal with vapor and water management on our buildings. But they have so much opportunity in the sense that they could continue to build and scale this facility to further supply the demand. And if you're in North America like we are, you're seeing that Siga is becoming more readily available, which is really great. And then we're back right where we started, where the raw material is coming in, this stuff's packaged and ready to go out. One thing I skipped over actually, those vats back there, or the big tanks, that is the glue product. Something that they did not elaborate on, won't explain what it is. We spent some time in the lab, even doing some test polls, understanding the importance of how sticky things are. But they also, you know, a really great question that was asked in the lab, is it always about making it the most sticky as possible? And it's not. You know, the 500 SA, the self-adhered stuff we use, they actually had to find a really good balance where, of course, you don't want it to fall off the house like other manufacturers we've dealt with in the past have, but you also don't want it to be so sticky that if you put it up and you have to adjust it, you can't get it back off that you know, the sheathing. So there's that balance. And then one thing that I think you can see it out, maybe one of these windows back here, is they actually have some of the testing that they're doing for longevity and UV breakdown. So yeah, it's right back, oh, you know what, the truck's in the way. But they have this stuff set up in all different parts of the world, including Florida, and they leave it out there and have real life testing. So it's getting the UV breakdown over year after year after year. But one of the things that they say is that this stuff is built to last 50+ years, And how can you say that if the product's only been around for, say, 10, 20 years? Well, they have the testing facility in the lab to make sure that they're expediting the life and understanding what it does over that life expectancy. And one thing that was really cool, we actually had done a test to see just how well that adhesive held up over, I believe it was 4 years, and they were able to do that 4-year test in 4 weeks based on the machine that they have. Really cool facility, really cool to understand what goes into the engineering, and also really cool to just see how this stuff is manufactured and know that they have room to grow and room to scale and room to really be able to support our market. As a builder, we know that availability is always a concern, so to see that being improved day after day is really great. I hope you guys enjoyed this tour here at the Siga Factory. We'll see you guys soon.